And sanctuary cities under fire today on Capitol Hill. The House of Representatives just a short time ago passing a bill to strip federal funds from all sanctuary cities. Now the huge move coming after tensions boiled over at a dramatic congressional hearing.
The definition of sanctuary is a place of refuge or safety. It almost sounds utopian. A place of refuge, a place of safety. Refuge for whom? Safety for whom? For a young woman walking on a pier with her father? We are given a litany of excuses for policies like this. We are told that we need policies like the one in San Francisco so people will cooperate with law enforcement. And I want you to consider how utterly illogical that is. We are releasing known criminals back into society so society will help us catch known criminals. So are we supposed to catch him again after San Francisco releases him? Do we wait on another victim? Is that the strategy behind sanctuary cities? Release them and then wait until they victimize someone else? Is that what we mean by coming forward?
And also in that hearing, the father of Kate Steinle, a young woman shot and killed by an illegal immigrant, delivering dramatic testimony.
The day she was killed, we were walking arm in arm on Pier 14 in San Francisco, enjoying a wonderful day together. Suddenly a shot rang out. Kate fell, looked at me and said, "Help me, Dad." Those are the last words I will ever hear from my daughter. It's unbelievable to see so many innocent Americans have been killed by undocumented immigrant felons in recent years. Our family realizes the complexities of immigration laws. However, we feel strongly that some legislation should be discussed, enacted, or changed to take these undocumented immigrant felons off our streets for good. We feel that if Kate's law saves one daughter, one son, a father or a mother, Kate's death won't be in vain.
Congressman Trey Gowdy, chairman of the subcommittee that held today's hearing, went on the record about sanctuary cities. Congressman, nice to see you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you had hearings today on sanctuary cities. What is a sanctuary city?
Sanctuary city right now is a place where folks who are not supposed to be here, even with misdemeanor and felony convictions, can go and be guaranteed they won't be deported. What a sanctuary city ought to be is any American city where a law-abiding person like Kate Steinle would be safe. But right now, the only people safe in sanctuary cities are folks who are in violation of our immigration laws.
Okay, you mentioned Kate Steinle, the man who is sitting in jail right now for her murder, deported a number of times and kept coming back into the country. The sheriff said when he released him that he had no authority to hold him anymore because the federal charges were over, and also he had no state charges, so he let him go. ICE said, well, we had a detainer on him. The sheriff says a detainer is not enough to hold somebody.
It is in most jurisdictions, and it was for the entire pendency of the Bush administration. But let's back up one second. What was he taken to San Francisco for? An old drug case. Drugs may not still be illegal in San Francisco. I don't know, but heavens knows they're not going to prosecute an old drug case. So they had a warrant. Why not? They wound up dismissing the warrant, Greta. Why not dismiss it when he's in the Bureau of Prisons? You don't have to have a defendant in front of you to dismiss a warrant. So my frustration is the Bureau of Prisons should have never released him to the city of San Francisco, knowing that after this case, let's assume he pled guilty to this peddling drug case. He would have then been released. Why would you release someone who's been convicted of unlawful entry 5 times? Why would you release that person to a known sanctuary city?
Well, but why not blame ICE for not following the case? And the minute the case was dropped in the state court, when the sheriff had custody, ICE should have been standing right there saying, grabbing him.
I did blame them a little bit today for not getting a warrant. A detainer is great. There's debate over whether or not that's legally sufficient. A warrant, nobody debates. So why didn't ICE go get a warrant?
Did they have the authority to get a warrant? Because I think
they had probable cause.
For what? That the minute the sheriff let go of him and he walked outside, he was there illegally?
Well, he was there illegally. Absolutely, yes. Either deport him or probable cause for an arrest, not a detainer, an arrest.
Isn't this whole business of sanctuary cities something, though, that the federal government could resolve? I mean, the federal government could streamline its immigration, properly fund it, give very specific directions to these local communities and make sure they follow. I mean, is it really the problem, the sort of the patchwork effort to deal with illegal immigration in this country?
That's part of it. I think the biggest issue is because we have not had what the president calls comprehensive immigration reform, that he's going to inject reform in certain pockets or pieces. He's just picked lots of the wrong pockets and pieces. I mean, one of the questions I had today for the hearing is, of the 11 million, what percentage have committed either felonies or serious misdemeanors? All right, let's assume it's 500,000. That's low, but let's assume that. What is your plan for identifying those 500,000? Because right now the president's plan is to wait for them to reoffend. I mean, Juan Francisco Sanchez Lopez is going to be in prison for the rest of his life. The question is, how do you catch folks like that before they kill the Kate Steinles? And there were, whether it's the Bureau of Prisons or the city of San Francisco or ICE, there's enough blame to go around. But it's too late to help her. Until you can look your fellow citizens in the eye and say the borders, plural, are secure, and our internal security is good, and we're going to catch people who are known criminals that have overstayed their visas before they commit another offense, you're not going to get to the 11 million. You're not going to get to the work visas. You're not going to get to the agricultural piece. People want security first, and the president has been remarkably silent on that issue.
And of course, we all know it's going to take a number of more Kate Steinles before we will get some solution out of the federal government.
It depends. It depends on how outraged our fellow citizens are. Because I can tell you this, the president said that he saw Trayvon Martin, he saw his son. Well, I can tell you those of us that have daughters saw our daughters in Kate Steinle. And he's got two of them too. So at a minimum, he ought to pick up the phone and tell the Steinle family that I grieve for you. And you do it privately. I don't care what he says, but that'd be a nice thing to do. And then secondarily, to understand the primary focus of government is public safety. Way more than winning elections and appealing to certain constituencies, it is public safety. And it wouldn't take much to secure the border, secure the internal, make detainers mandatory. Make them mandatory like they were during the Bush administration. She'd still be alive if we'd done that.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.